I think it's safe to say that things like computers and cell phones and other electronic devices have become an accessory in our modern world. You can't go to a coffee shop, a restaurant, or even a shopping mall without seeing someone on their computer or on their cell phone, checking things like their social media and other things that are going on in our world. And I think it's safe to say that most of us believe that the computer and other electronic devices have been invented within the last 100 years. However, that is not true. There was an artifact found in a shipwreck off the coast of Greece that proves that there was a computer that was invented 2,000 years ago. Today I'm going to be talking about that very controversial artifact that was found deep under the ocean's tides, and maybe try to get to the bottom of what it is, how it works, who made it, and why. Today, on the History You Thought You Knew, we're going to be talking about the Antikythera mechanism. Before we get into the actual mechanism and how it works, we first must start at where it was found.
The coast of the Grecian island of Antikythera is where the mechanism was found. Sponge divers dove off of the coast of the island, which is where they found some odd things protruding from the ocean floor below.
Upon further inspection of the sculptures, coins, pottery, and other artifacts in the shipwreck, the mechanism was hiding. Also, this shipwreck was to date the largest find of ancient Greece artifacts. Now, when looking at the wreck itself, something caught their eye, and it's a good thing that it did, because it was the mechanism. They saw it and thought it was like nothing they had seen before. So they grabbed it, put it in with the other artifacts, and it stayed at the National Archaeological Museum in Greece until 50 years later, when someone else would take interest in what it is and how it worked.
This is the mechanism, and at first it may not look like a lot, but under the wear, tear, and corrosion lies a device that should never have existed in our modern thought.
It was made of bronze gears and was no bigger than the size of an average laptop. And it sat in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens until the year 1951, when Derek Price would become interested in the mysterious artifact.
He started studying the artifact and produced a theory that this mechanism was some sort of astrological device that told the positions of the moon and the sun. So, in 1974, Price and Greek nuclear physicist Charalampos Karakoulis performed X-ray and gamma-ray images of the later found 82 fragments and found very interesting discoveries. Upon performing these tests, Price realized that he was correct and that this mechanism was a lot more complex than he ever thought. He found that there was numerous gears, pins, and levers inside of the mechanism.
On later inspection of the gears, Price realized that each gear either had 127 or 235 teeth on it, which are numbers that are crucial to astronomy, which we all know the ancient Greeks were extraordinary astronomers. So this, of course, brought excitement to Price. And he realized what he was about to do. He realized that he was about to disprove everything that we thought we knew about technology and the advancements of it. So, after his extensive research, he published a 70-page report, and he dated the mechanism to around 87 BC. However, later inspections of the mechanism put it at possibly 100 BC. And still, the famous French diver Jacques Cousteau later dove around the shipwreck and went into the shipwreck and found coins that were dating to 67 and 76 BC, which made people think this was when the mechanism was made. So no one actually knows how old the mechanism is, but it has been narrowed down to between 67 BC and 200 BC. This is still astonishing considering that the computer was not even made until the 20th century.
The cargo ship it was found on was heading from the coast of Pergamum, where it was heading through Kos. It would stop on the islands of Rhodes, where it would fill up before heading back to Rome. The ship was overloaded and hit a storm that ultimately sank the ship. Many think it made it back to Pergamum. However, some of the inscriptions on the device suggest that it had been made in Corinth. It also theorizes it was constructed in Syracuse, a rich Greek colony and the home to the school of Archimedes, the famed inventor. And even though he died before the creation of the mechanism, there are those who believe that he started the blueprints and even made earlier models.
Archimedes was killed by a passing soldier. It was said that he was seen drawing circles in the sand. And when the soldier started asking him questions, Archimedes said, "Please leave me to my diagrams and my drawings." And then he was killed. However, people think that what he was drawing was the predecessor of what we now know as the Antikythera mechanism. After he died, the government took machines and inventions from Archimedes' house. And some believe that these machines were prototypes of the Antikythera mechanism, leading people to believe that students of Archimedes would later finish his work and make this amazing piece of history.
This is a computer-generated representation of what they thought the mechanism actually looked like when it was first built. On the front, you can notice that there is one large disc, and on the back there are two large discs with smaller discs inside of them. Here is how the mechanism would have worked. The front disc would have had two rings. The outer ring would have had the days of the 365-day Egyptian calendar. The inner ring is marked with the Greek zodiac signs, which were divided into degrees. These degrees were numbers that told what time of the day it would be, like evening, morning, afternoon, and when the sun would set and rise. There was also a lunar pointer that would rotate around the entire disk. On the end, there was a small ball that would spin and would change from black to white, and told them when there would be an eclipse, as well as the different phases of the moon. Also, if you notice, not only is there a lunar pointer, but there is also a solar pointer that would keep track of the position of the sun, when it would rise, set, and be at the most highest point in the day. The other pointers that you see with multicolored balls on them were thought to be planetary pointers. These, like the lunar and solar pointers, were thought to have calculated the positions of the 5 known planets to the ancient Greeks. There are 5 dials on the back, 2 large ones, which were named Metonic and Saros. The other 3 were smaller ones that were named Olympiad, the Calliopic, and the Exligamos.
In Greece, they used something they called Metonic. This was a period of about 19 years that equated to a full solar year.
A full solar year or tropical year is the time it takes from the sun to return to the same position in the cycle of seasons from Earth. Saros is a period of 223 synodic months that can be used to predict the eclipses of the moon and the sun.
The Olympiad told when the Olympic Games were supposed to be held. It also told what specific game was to be held and who was to hold the games. The Capellic dial was a dial made up of 4 Metonic years. The Exeligamos was a dial that consisted of 54 years and 33 days, which helped further predict when eclipses would happen. Not only would it make predictions of when eclipses would happen, but it would also make predictions of that eclipse happening in the same exact way that it did before, in the same position, with the same cast of shadow, even down to the color of what the eclipse would be. It was originally in a wooden casing and had a lever on the side of it that an operator would crank. Now, once it was cranked, the mechanism would work on its own and produce surprisingly accurate information. There are also backdoor hatches that you could go into to repair if something was wrong with it, and it also had an instruction manual on the back that explained how to work the mechanism. The Antikythera mechanism is an artifact surrounded by mystery, controversy, and amazement. It was able to predict when eclipses would happen. It would keep track of the lunar phases. It also calculated the position of the moon, sun, and earth, and some even theorize that it calculated the position of the 5 known planets to the ancient Greeks. Of course, this mechanism has so many other mysteries that are waiting to be solved about it. Like, who made it? Where was it made? When was it made? And why did they make it? And also, could it unlock more secrets to the skies above than it already has? You thought that right now, in this time period, we were the most technologically advanced beings. Just imagine what would have happened if Greece did not fall when it did. Also, when you look at this item or artifact, and it looks like something that would belong in a science fiction movie, that begs the question, are there more? Are there more artifacts like the Antikythera mechanism? Are there more Antikythera mechanisms? Was this the only one? And did it lead to further machines and inventions that we can't even wrap our minds around? The answers are out there. It will only take one to find them. I'm Justin Sisk, and this has been the history you thought you knew, covering the Antikythera mechanism. Hey everybody, if you liked what you saw today, please go down there and hit that big red subscribe button, because that helps me out so much. It gets my videos out there to more people, and that's all I really want. I want the information to get out to you guys. I want to educate, I want to entertain, and I want to bring a little bit of happiness and knowledge to you guys' life. So when you hit the subscribe button, when you hit the like button, when you hit the share button, that is what that does. So please, like it, share it, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell everybody you know about it to come and check out this channel. Also, let me know what you thought. Let me know if you think that the Antikythera mechanism was an ancient computer, and if you believe what it could do, and if it could do more. Let me know if you think there are more artifacts like this mechanism out there that are just waiting to be discovered. And also, if you want to add another one on there, let me know what you think this world might have been like if the Empire of Greece didn't fall when it did. When you see things like this, one can only wonder. And also, keep in mind, if you thought reading a clock was hard now, oh Lord, just imagine reading something like this. Like I said, I'm Justin Sisk, and this has been the history you thought you knew, and I'll see you guys next time.